All right, guys, we are recording. We are going to give this a go. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you haven't gotten an agenda, please do. And we'll see how this goes. For anyone who has not met me before, my name is Rebecca Pressler, and I am the president of the PFI. And as you just heard, we grant membership to all parents, and we don't accept or we don't take dues. So if you're a parent or a guardian of Socrates or a teacher, you're automatically part of the PFI. So we are going to take a second and introduce ourselves. We'll introduce the officers, and then I would love if you guys would just say your names and say the grade your child's going into, and then we'll kind of jump into it. So we'll just go down the line.
Okay, I'm Mayor Keziah. I'm in the communications committee. I have it third grade.
I'm Sarah Hinkle. I'm the middle school parent and student committee, and I have a kindergartner, 6th grade, and 7th grader.
I'm Sarah Husband. I'm the treasurer, and I have a 4th grader.
Well, and to just nicely correct, we're not calling it committees anymore. She's actually our secretary, and she's the vice president. So they're new officers this year, and we changed some of our terms. So we might say the wrong thing. Forgive us. If you guys don't mind just quickly saying your name so we can all kind of know each other.
Sure, I'll start. I'm Colleen Nadioli. I'm brand new to Socrates. I have a little kindergartner, Chelsea.
Jenna Seeley. I have a 4th grader and a 7th grader, and I help with school sport.
I'm Brittany Leckie, and I'm a 5th grader.
I'm Amy Gray. I'm a Eli, a 7th grader, and I'll be doing the yearbook.
Oh, you're an officer. Sit up here with us. You want to sit up, or do you? I mean, if you're more comfortable there, that's fine. She's our co-historian. You're welcome. I can sit up here if you like. If we vote for anything, you're allowed to vote. So.
Oh. I'm going to vote.
Yeah, come on up. Get a seat at the table.
All right.
All right.
Sure.
I'm Cassandra Hudson. I have a rising 1st grader and 4th grader. And I'm Gretchen Sturbaugh, and I'm a rising 1st grader.
So Rob is my 1st year as well, and I'm a 6th grader, and hopefully kindergarten, we'll find out.
Awesome. We do have a handful of people who couldn't make it today, so just a quick introduction to the makeup of how PFI works. We have the president, we have several vice presidencies. We're going to go through the different events and themes in a second for you, but we have staff appreciation, and so we have 2 vice presidents of staff appreciation, one that focuses on elementary and one that focuses on middle. And then we have 2 vice presidents of student and family engagement, one that focuses on elementary and one that focuses on middle. And then we have 2 secretaries. One would be our recording secretary, and one is communications, which is Mayor. Mayor's going to be doing the recording today as well. And then we have the treasurer, and then we have 2 historians, Amy and Emma, who have been able to be here today as well. So they do yearbook and school pictures. So that is the officer makeup. And a quick intro, since it's the first meeting of the year, and many of you are new. When we vote on things, the officers are the only ones who vote for general business. We will have some items throughout the year, but we'll open it up. And often when we do that, it'll be a poll or something, just because, as you can see, the consensus of families don't always show up to the meeting. We're also going to try evening meetings this year more often, which is something we haven't done in several years. And so hopefully that will encourage more participation with some of our working families and people who are just busy. So before we move on, does anyone have any questions about that? The makeup, the structure? Perfect. So what we're going to do is quickly give you an overview of what we have planned for the year under each of the teams. And we will, if someone is here who represents that, they could speak on their behalf. Otherwise, you're going to hear me tell you a lot of information. And then Fran will talk about the budgetary side of all of those activities. So you kind of have an idea of how it's all going to be structured for the year. And then we'll take some questions, ideas, conversation about benefits, things we should or shouldn't do. We'll get your feedback. So the first one we have there is staff appreciation. And that is a big part of what we do. For those of you who've been in other schools, the PTO may traditionally do a lot of the fundraising. At our school, we don't focus completely on the fundraising. The school handles a lot of that. We really do some fundraising activities in order to support the staff, and then a few events that support the students. But if you see the budget that you've given, you'll see a significant portion of our expenses for the year actually go to staff appreciation. So that is one of the big things that we do. You can refer to the budget page when we're talking about activities, because that's going to show you what they are. Instead of a separate sheet that just lists them, I figured this works with both. And they're sort of listed in chronological order there. About every month or every 2 months, we do an event for the staff. And what we do here is have someone, a volunteer, one of you, a person who would actually coordinate that event. So at Socrates, volunteering is so important. And every family commits to the 36 hours. And so what we do with these events is give you a chance to volunteer by contributing, baking something, or bringing something in. And then we really do need some people who are going to coordinate the whole event. And those people will help plan the space, recruit volunteers, organize the structure of the event, and see it through. And so we've got a handful of things throughout the year already planned, a lot of which are repeat events that the teachers really like. And then we have a few things that are ongoing. Down there we have staff birthday cards, lounge snacks, the mini grants, and the wish list. Those are ongoing things we do throughout the year. We give every staff member a birthday card and a $5 gift card the month of their birthday. We stock the lounges with grab-and-go snacks like crackers and chips and things that are easy for the teachers to just take a snack during the day, and also K-Cups. They love that. And then we started last year the Socrates wish list, which is a sign-up genius form where teachers can submit things they want for the classroom, and then we actually quantify a volunteer amount loosely based on the cost of the item or how long it would take to acquire the item, kind of equating your time to the person. So you might buy something for a teacher, and then you earn 2 volunteer hours for doing it. And that's been a really great resource for families who can't necessarily be here, but they want to give back. And it's a way for them to earn their hours, and our teachers get supplies that they otherwise might not get. So that is actually, doesn't cost us anything. It's just we have a volunteer who coordinates it. So we're going to try it again this year. Then student and family engagement, I'll let Sarah speak on that.
All right. So in the past, it was a broad overview of new parent navigators, and I specifically focused on new families and then helped plan events throughout the year. This year we have it broken up to kind of hopefully have more of an emphasis on the entire Socrates family as they are welcoming our new families. I was a new family 3 years ago, so I understand not coming in at kindergarten, sometimes just trying to navigate the waters, and it can be quite confusing and overwhelming. So we hope to take that off. We have different outreach programs for the beginning of the year. If you're incoming kindergartner, Maria or Miss Rose Harris, she does a lot of the kindergarten welcome. She has sent out emails about the popsicles in the playground and then other information to help you get acclimated to Socrates. And then we're planning on doing something for the 1st through 5th grade as well. The day of the open house, we are inviting new parents and families to come at 2 o'clock to do just kind of a broad overview, answer any questions you might have, kind of, respect everybody's time instead of constantly going back and forth on everything, putting faces to names, and then they'll be able to go to the teachers a little bit earlier. We're sure that you probably have more questions than somebody else that's just been here and, they know the teachers. We're also doing PFI meet and greet. There'll be middle school dance. We'll be doing middle school dances in partnership with the student council, and then family game night, movie night, and then different outreach and spirit things throughout the year.
All right. So Spirit Night is going to be changed for this year. And Tony Alvarez coordinates our Spirit Night. And it falls under the student and family engagement, but really it's sort of a standalone activity. In the past, we've done different places, Chick-fil-A or Firehouse or some place like that, and it would just be whole school, come spirit night, and whatever money we earn just kind of goes into our cost. We're going to try something new this year, which some of you might have heard about us talking about in the spring when we discussed it. Every grade is going to sponsor a spirit night at the Chick-fil-A in Waverly. That is the one that we have our agreement with. And so let's say it's second grade spirit night. We might not promote it to the whole school, but those teachers will be encouraged to go, and they'll talk to those families. And so you might know that second grade families are going to be there that day. And to sweeten it a little bit, every dollar earned from that spirit night will go back to that grade. So those teachers may be a little more excited to help, and those families might be a little more excited. Those students are going to be directly affected by the money that's earned that month. And there's enough months for every grade to get one. We're going to give middle school two. They suggested instead of having 1 for 6, 7, and 8, that we just do a whole middle school. And then we're actually going to have a night that benefits the EC department as well. So they are scheduled, and those are on the school calendar, I believe. But you'll hear for your student's grade, probably the month preceding, you'll find out that it's your month, and then you can hopefully make things. It's always the first Tuesday of the month, so hopefully that'll work out when it's your grade's time, but we'll see how it goes this year, and hopefully it turns out to be a really great thing for our grades to get, again, a little extra something that maybe they wouldn't be able to have otherwise. And that jumps us into fundraising, and several of our fundraising people are here, so I will actually let each of you speak on your items. So first we have the campus collections, and I will let Gretchen share about that.
Okay. What Campus Collections does is we focus on the box top collections and the tote rewards. There's been a change this year with the box tops that are going digital, so it's sort of like a reintroduction, especially this year, on how to get box tops for your school. And so it's sort of like a re-education to remind people that they're not going to, always see the clipping top and how to do the box top. So we're trying to make sure that we keep the information on the Facebook page, and then we're going to send these out. It's going to be on Socrates Connection. It explains the new process, but also explaining how you can still find the physical box tops, and we're still doing the classroom competition, and we've got to figure out a new way to drive that, since we can't with the digital box tops. Haven't been able to figure out how we can give credit to individual people or individual classes. So it's going to be a process there. I think that there's still enough of the physical clips out there that we shouldn't see too big of a dip in our money this year. So I'm hoping just, keeping it out there and making sure the parents are aware of the new process. And then the Coke rewards, just the Coke list, and then the Coke cases have code going inside, and you just bring it in, your child gets to the homeroom teacher, and then that one we're still able to do the classroom competition for everybody. For some reason, the 4th and 5th grade really seem to really like it. So yeah, the kids really seem to like that, and the teachers, of course, in the rooms, the break rooms in the middle school stuff. I just noticed last year that there were a lot of lids and everything. That's good. But so I pointed to this because there are other programs that we can participate in, but they're more individual driven and digital, and you can do it at home, sign up for Shop-Roo, or you put your phone number in a Publix, or you link your card to Care Theater, you can go through Amazon. So we'll hopefully get that out there and remind everybody of that. The goal mission.
Awesome. Thank you. So the next thing under fundraising is, and Sarah, if you don't mind speaking on it, it's actually the candy grams and the squishy-grams that we do every year for Valentine's Day. Since you've done it before, do you mind speaking on that?
Okay, so the candy grams, those go out depending on what day of the week Valentine's Day is. It's usually the end of January, beginning of February. You'll start seeing a flyer. And all it is just a label that goes home for K through 5th grade. They're just labels that go home. They can be sent to, I know in the past it was specified as children in other classrooms, but my way of thinking is it's a fundraiser, and if you want to send a candy gram to every child in your class, that's fine. I will gladly put labels on that candy. It is all allergen friendly. We can't say it's free because sometimes, just because of how allergies are, if they're airborne or in contact, they're allergy friendly. And then last year we did Starburst. They are allergy friendly. The Mars, we usually try to stick with the Mars company because their candy, besides most of the M&Ms, are all manufactured in separate factories. And then the M&Ms we have a cross-contamination because they just make them all there. So I like to do with the Mars. And then for middle school this year we did the squishies that were, I guess, popular with the kids this year. My daughters keep me up to date. So it was just little squishies we ordered, and we sold those for $2 a piece, I think. And then Student Council, we partnered with Student Council, and they sold them during their lunch period, so we weren't taking away from any class time, because I know the teachers are very adamant about not doing things during teaching time, understandably. So those are the ones that we do for middle school and elementary. If you have any ideas to do it differently, we're always open to different ideas.
And that is actually one of the activities we do not have anyone signed up to coordinate yet. So if you yourself or you know any parents that might be interested in taking on that project, it happens early February to Valentine's, and that's it, and it's done. So it's a great way to get a few hours without, making a year-long commitment. So keep that in mind as you talk to parents who do need someone to take, one or two people to take point on that job. The next thing on our list is the Educate School Supplies, and that is Brittany.
So I do have our final number here. Is anybody unfamiliar with Educate? Do you guys know what Educate is? You were a little bit late to the game. Next year. So Educate actually is a company that puts together boxes of school supplies. So at the end of the year, the teachers give us their supply list for the following school year. We send it into the company, and what you can do is you can log on, and you can order child school supplies with it. It's pretty nice, and they show up in your classroom on each greet day, and the teachers usually want you to, do a little marketing. Keep it in mind next year. It is kind of awesome. So we do get a kickback off of that, and our total raise was $2,571.70. Can you say it again? $2,571.70. There's a small chance someone could return something for some reason they're unhappy with, or somebody could order at the very last minute and have it shipped to their house. There could be a small change to that, and if so, I'll definitely let you guys know. That is a pretty stagnant number. And then actually, if it's okay if I do this now, I'm just wondering if maybe you guys have a little experience and can help me figure it out. So what I need to do is the week before school starts, that week of meet and greet, I need to get some volunteers to come here to the school to help me send the boxes to the classroom. So I guess my question is, does anyone have any idea at what point I may have access to the class list, because I need them to send them to the right classroom? And does anybody think of a good way to help me brainstorm how to sign up volunteers when I don't necessarily know exactly when I'll be able to do that? The person who did this last year has left the school, the children left, so I don't really have a lot to draw on.
I remember a little bit about what we did. It was, they actually come on pallets. Like the only building that could accept pallets was the intermediate building. So everything was brought there, and then everything had to be sorted, and then the boxes were put on pallets, on carts and taken down. So it is a very big job. Once they know when it's going to be delivered, or if we don't know yet, it's going to be like sometime in a few days, we can put out a call on Facebook or somehow out there that says we need people, and maybe we plan for the 20th or the 20th. We plan for the latter end of when it might be delivered, and then we just pick a time, a several-hour block, like maybe it can be 8 to 12, and we know that we're going to have 5 people to help. I'll make a note to find out when this list will be ready, and they in the past they've given them to, they would give them to you, and then whoever is helping you just has to sign a confidentiality agreement that they will not be sharing before the teachers have a chance to tell everyone who's in whose class.
So the other thing I was going to ask, because your educate was talking to us about it, she does her own daughter's school. She has them out there, and so she was kind of trying to talk them through the first time. So the non-disclosure, where do I get those? I need to make that up.
No, that's already exists. I'll get you that document, and I'll send a note to find out when we'll have the class list, and we can work through the details of it. But did that give you an idea on when it's going to be delivered?
Likely Tuesday the 20th.
Okay.
They are very hesitant to give you concrete because it's coming from Denver. There could be a tornado in the Midwest that slows them down. Who knows? Shooting for Tuesday, so my thought was kind of maybe aim for Wednesday, maybe even Wednesday afternoon, just to give ourselves a little bit of a buffer so that if something does happen, I'm not having to try to contact all these volunteers because then maybe they can't do it on a different day.
But it definitely has to be done before Thursday, so let's plan for Wednesday, and then
that's what I was thinking.
We'll just, if there's a problem, we'll scrounge and make it happen. But let's plan on Wednesday, and we'll, if it's delivered Tuesday, they can just hold it until we're ready to support it. So, yeah, I'll work on getting you this missing information.
And then were they just kind of hanging out in the hall until they were able to be gotten to?
We put them, I think they were placed outside of each teacher's classroom, and if there's a spot in the classroom, you just put them like on the back shelf in the teacher's classroom, and the teachers were in charge of putting them on the desk.
Well, I mean, like when they first arrived at the pallet?
I think they were just, literally just in the hallway. Like whoever's in that hall just has to know, guys, sorry. That's what you do.
Yeah, she was telling me about the double door issue.
Yeah, that was the only spot in the whole building we could expect a delivery. So.
And someone's here constantly throughout the day.
The delivery part, someone should be able to handle it, and then they can just call you and say, hey, they're here.
Okay. And then for payment, they said that the actual proceeds, they usually send out like the second week in September just to give a little bit of room for people in case anything were to be returned. Just because I'm the rep, which it makes me slightly uncomfortable, it will come to my attention here at the school. I'll give Georgia a heads up.
We have a mailbox in the lower building. Anytime something comes with PFI on it at all, they just stick it in that mailbox, and then Brandon and I have access to get those checks and things like that. They're used to it, so we'll just make sure that they know your name, that if anything comes to you, it's PFI. So no problem. Great. And that's a higher number than I expected, so I'm glad we've had some last minute orders come in. Gretchen can talk about Math in July Festival as well. That's another big one for us.
Well, actually, this is my first time doing it, so I've never even attended the festival, so I am completely a newbie for everything. But we were assigned a rather large booth this year that required 4 volunteers at all times during the entire festival. And Rebecca, asked me to ask her if we could find something smaller, and she said that she actually assigned it to us because it seemed like last year we were overrun with volunteers. And I think what happened was people were bringing their families with them, but they weren't signing them up. So we had multiple people coming and bringing their, husband or their wife or whatever, and then the booth was full. So that's why she did that. So I think we're not going to have a problem This year, there's 56 total spots that I lined up and signed up in the Genius, and 36 are filled so far. So, we'll do a final push there this last couple of weeks before, and like I said, I'm flying blind. I go to a meeting, an informational meeting next week to get more information. Of course, I plan to be there for the first shift and to help just get acclimated and everything. But it's the USO bounty house is our booth this year.
So the thing we do for Mountain July, because it's Labor Day weekend, and we know it's a big commitment for people, we give them double hours, and that counts from you're getting to the parking lot to you leave. So it's not just your 3-hour shift. It's like to be like 5 hours times 2. That's 10 hours. If you did it as a couple, there's 20 hours for coming for a 3-hour shift at the festival. Bring your kids and go to the festival after, and now so there's it's the incentive to spend your Labor Day weekend working. It is a big jump on your count for the year. So.
Related question: If our older, capable children are with us and they're legitimately working, can we walk their
I
time?
think the number was 12.
Yes,
that's order required to be 12.
Not necessarily just that, but just in general. Like if my 10-year-old comes with me and she's fussing about doing education.
Oh, absolutely. It counts. The whole family counts. Yeah, that's a great question.
For the festival purposes, they're only going to count 18 and above, and then at least one, and then 12 and above for children.
That is a good question in general. If there's something at the school and your spouse or your teenager or your child comes and you guys are actually working together, or if we're doing concessions and you bring your middle schooler to come work the concession stand, their hours count too. So unless they were having to do it for some other assignment, unless there was something where they were doing it as part of student council or volunteer, we give the hours very freely. If you do 3/4 of an hour, round up to 1. We're not nitpicky on the time frame. We're just thankful to have the help. But yes, anyone can come. You bring grandparents, anything like that. Everybody's time counts the same. So it's easier to get your hours than sometimes people realize. So we will go and talk about school sports.
So my name is Jenna, and I've been doing school sports since my daughter was in kindergarten, which she's in 7th grade now. I've been doing it for a while. Fran has been one of my faithful volunteers until she moved up in the world to school sports is really fun. We have it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings from 7:45 to 8:15 during carpool time, and we do 1 grade per day. 2 volunteers usually, and we just sell little things, pencils, anything that's kind of related to education, like fun erasers, gel pens, stuff like that. And there's also a crowd pass that teachers give out when they see kids doing good stuff, and then they can enter that in a raffle to win like 25 or 50 cents towards school sports. So it's a way to reward kids also. So I'll be getting the Senate Junior's house for that pretty soon, and it's a good way to get hours in the early morning for parents who work, who are coming to carpool. You have to come a little early to get there before the line, but it's a good way to get a little bit of time in then.
So this sort of made me think about book fair, which is not on here, but is one of our very big fundraisers. So Fran, would you like to talk about that real quick?
Sure. So twice a year, we, Scholastic is the company, and we have 2 book fairs, one in the fall and one in the spring. And we actually have our dates already for the book fair this year. Our fall book fair will be from November 15th through the 22nd, before Thanksgiving, which I think will be a good time. And our spring book fair will be from March 30th to April 3rd, before the spring holidays. So it's a wonderful time. The kids Scholastic comes, they bring, you know, all the books, we set it up, and then for about a week, we're set up in the lower school, right in the hallway there, and the kids can come and shop mainly before school and then with permission from their teachers throughout the day. And we made really great money for the school with this, and we're able to buy books for the school. And we actually just are in the process of placing an order for the Scholastic magazines that go home with the children, and that's just part of the money that we're using this year. And then I'm sure in the fall the teachers will get to place a book order for the school. So I love it.
Well, and that's why it's not listed whenever you do see the budget. That's why it's not listed as an actual line item, because you get it in credit, basically.
In Scholastic dollars. We take it that way. We get more money from Scholastic that way, and it stays there. They give us bonus for keeping it there and using it as Scholastic dollars. Therefore, we get to purchase more books and supplies and things, whatever's in their catalog for the school.
So the next thing, our Spiritwear coordinator is not here, but that is a large fundraiser for us, and one that everybody loves, because on Fridays you get to wear your spirit shirts, and then everybody likes sweatshirts that you can wear as part of your uniform all year long. We are changing our Spiritwear process a little this year. In the last 2 years, maybe 3, people have been able to order anytime, and within a month or so, your shirt goes home with your child. We actually are changing the process because we learned that by keeping it open all the time, it's essentially a store, and we would need to pay some taxes. If we do it at periodic times throughout the year, it is a fundraiser, and we do not have to. So that sounded like a no-brainer for us. So it's going to be a learning curve this year, because people will not be able to get their shirt immediately. So you have to see the open ordering period, buy it then, and then within a month or so, the shirts will be delivered. We'll probably have a couple months off, and then we'll have another period. So there's not, oh, I'll get it in a week. Like, if Spiritwear's for sale, Spiritwear's for sale. And that's where, again, you guys can help us educate other families when they might not realize that's the way it is. We're putting that information out there, but it's a new process, and it's going to take a little while. We expect to have a little frustration at the beginning of the year, but we will be having some Spiritwear for sale during open house. We had an early bird sale that we did in July, where we actually gave a discount for ordering in advance. And then we're going to have a back-to-school sale that opens the first day of school. So after open house, we'll count inventory, and we'll post that sale. And then that'll run through mid-September, and then by early October, all of those shirts will be delivered. So for new families, if you do not have a shirt, we will be selling open house. It's a kindergarten popsicle thing. We're going to sell T-shirts there. But if you want a shirt for your kid to start wearing at the beginning of the year, make sure you buy it at one of those occasions, because the back-to-school sale, they're not going to be delivered till October. So if we have them in stock, we'll deliver them sooner, but we're going to have to order, because in doing it this way, we're not going to carry as much inventory. In the past, we have a storage room down the hallway, and we've just had to keep some of every size, which is thousands of dollars of inventory that's just sitting there. And we want to be able to more accurately reflect income, the fundraising income based on sales. And so to do that, we're going to try to only order what people ask for. So that's why it'll take us a little while to transition. But in doing so, instead of Spiritwear being, we make $2,000 on it, we are expecting probably $4,000 or so, maybe even more. So anyway, it's going to be hopefully a better generation of income this year as well. Store program is on the same flyer that Gretchen shared with you about the box tops and the Post Rewards. And as she mentioned, those are just other ways to get money. And so using your Vic card and Publix and Amazon Smile, those are all ways that we earn some income. There's a sheet over there for anyone who hasn't seen it. I found out that your VIC card has to be relinked every year, which you're welcome to do. So there's actually a way for us to do it for you. So if you list your name and your phone number that is associated, we can link your card and you don't have to go log on and do it. So at all of our open house periods, we're going to have that sign. I'm going to put them in the lobbies. Hopefully we can get more people. I will actually pass this around. This is something Fran saw when they sent us our last check, and I think you guys will find it interesting. We did. I don't remember the exact number, but we had, 70 or 90 or something like that family linked. Out of 515 families last year, we had less than 100 linked, and we made several $100s on those 2 families. So this is something they sent out, and you guys can pass it around. Some of the other schools in Charlotte have 474 families linked, and they made $4,000 just by linking your VIC card. Yeah.
Is it at all possible to encourage that? Could we do some sort of competition?
My daughter actually.
Like, is there any way to say the grade with the most families? Because everybody has to be linked for the year. So everybody starts fresh. The grade or even the class with the most linked gets something.
I don't know if Harrison gives you the information.
How we would know.
To know. I think they give you the information by school and
yeah.
not by last name.
Or maybe we could just see if we could brainstorm like how, like maybe when they do it, if they do it themselves, maybe they could screenshot it.
Yep.
And did it or something.
It's certainly a good idea to consider. I know.
It's such an opportunity.
It seems like it's just money sitting there. You know?
Competition is usually the way to get people involved.
Well, think on it, and we can talk about it for sure. I mean, we're going to, besides these flyers that haven't gone anywhere except for you guys and it's posted on the website, we haven't promoted anything really. I mean, we're starting to promote it on Facebook, but there might be a way where we can, even if it's for everyone who signs that out, we enter a raffle and somebody's going to win something, you know, just someone wins something. I don't.
Maybe they can win some of the new items that we
so you can. As you say, competition is good, but we were shocked to learn how much other schools make and how little we make from something that's no effort at all. So
you can have family members, like grandparents.
Yes, other
friends.
people can do it too.
They don't have any kids.
Right.
Even just the 1-200 here, which is smallest, you need a lot of money.
That's a great point that Jennifer said too, though, that get your friends that don't have children or don't have a school of their own, link their card. And again, if they don't want to go in and do it, steal their keys right to the So we can link, so all we need is their VIC card or their phone number and their last name. So it has to match the account. But we don't have to have the VIC number and phone number, just either or. And I promoted it on Facebook, and I had a few families email. So they can email it to the PFI name, they can do it through open house. We're going to try to promote it a little bit this year just because it's so easy.
I can't remember last year, was that list in with African House, or is that in for this year?
That's it. We've
Maybe
had,
it's like the package of classrooms, and if you were to sit on the board with all of their others,
yeah.
you know how we always have to sign our name and our email address and everything?
That's a good idea. I was going to have it available here, but having
Do it right there.
I like in the classes is a really good idea.
They can't really miss it, especially like you said, there's always like the homeroom log thing on the board, and like a lot of teachers put their cell phones with, and maybe even like, right, maybe even we could do like your shirt of your choice as a raffle prize.
Yeah.
Like, you know, one person would get your name in the raffle or something. I don't know, something like that.
I like it. Let's keep thinking on that one, but I like the idea. All right, so let's see. The other thing, that covers the fundraising, and like I said, that's a big chunk of what supports, you know, our staff appreciation events and things like that. The campus beautification, I will speak on that, and then we actually have a new, Colleen has said she wants to be a part of this, so I'll tell you about it, because she's never done it before. But she gets to learn about it too. We divide campus beautification into 2 parts, outdoor and indoor. And our outdoor coordinator took it and ran with it last year. I mean, she took a campus with very basic things, and now we have bushes and trees and pretty signs and everything, and it's been awesome. So she handles that. There are several work days scheduled throughout the year. Those are usually Saturday work days, and typically they do double hours for that as well. So you can bring your whole family and work for 2 hours. So whenever there was new bushes to plant or new mulch to put down, she's almost always around. So if you hear someone who that's something they like to do, they can let her know, hey, I can come at such and such a date, and chances are she can come help them out. You know, it's a great way for people to volunteer a little bit here and there. And then we do the indoor decorating and beautification, and that is coordinated by Graham, who this will be her first year coordinating it, but she has been a volunteer on that team, and often, for those of you who have been here, the wreaths that are on the doors, the decor in the lobbies, that's all done by that team. And we have supplies in our PFI room for every season, and if we decide we need more, we have a budget to buy more. We have volunteers that are crafty who might make the stuff, and other people who actually might put the stuff up. And so that's where I met with Colleen today, and she was referred to me on being a creative person that we needed on that team. So they're going to decorate next Friday. Most likely, if that's the day we want to do, I just have to get the final approval, but we're going to decorate next Friday, and we're going to post probably on Facebook that we need some volunteers. And it's going to be sorting the supplies and then putting out the supplies for the back to school. And our idea was to have it done before teachers come back on the 19th. So when the teachers come back, it's already like nice and welcoming for them as well, because we love our teachers. So that is what that team involves. And School Pictures is Emma Phillips is one of our historians who is in charge of that. And she couldn't be here tonight. But School Pictures, we do fall portraits, which are the yearbook photos. And also you can buy them, but that's the ones that go in the yearbook. And then we do class photos, which has, for the last several years, only been K-5. We're discussing the idea of making that a grade level photo for middle school as well. And then spring pictures, which are always they're outdoor with a local photographer that are really fantastic pictures. And she takes a few days and just does shots of the kids. And so those are the three things we do for that. And it generates a significant amount of our income by doing it that way as well. So I am, the next thing is yearbook. And Amy, you are new to this, so I don't know if you want to speak on it or you want me to.
I think what I'm going to do is just keep the format of what we had. But I was looking through the middle school. I obviously don't have a lower school. We need to add definitely more of what really happens through the year and make it more grade specific on those. And I'm going to put it out there for plan towards, say, February, and start collecting pictures from everybody to really kind of push that and make it really fun. And I did want to add, when it was my turn to talk about the teacher wish list. I did this last year as a working mom. I helped with the band supplies. I went on Amazon and I bought it and I had it delivered here, and it took care of my volunteer hours. And I got my volunteer hours in, and the teachers got trumpets. It was fantastic. So highly, highly recommend the wish list to really push that, because teachers need it. And
one thing with the wish list is if you use the way to smile Amazon and you choose the PFI for the ladies, then the school has also money from Amazon.
Yes.
So you get your hours.
Yes.
We get
the
supplies and the money.
And I noticed that was only a few things on the wish list. I was thinking this year we definitely need to get a bigger wish list through all the grades, because that would definitely help, especially working parents who aren't able to be here all the time, to really help out. You know, like I said, I would rather be able to do something than nothing, and to be able to volunteer those. All of that really great stuff. So if we could, I'll be happy to do it. If you want me to, I'll take on the wish list, because I think it's a really great idea.
We have someone who actually does he's really excited about managing the sign-up demand. But the communication with teachers and making sure they realize that that's a resource, it's because it was so new, that's still something we need. So I'm sure she would appreciate the help in working with the teachers and things like that.
Okay, so I don't know anything about the yearbook, but I'm planning to, like I said, keep Pretty Books the same format. I think it was a great format, added more pictures, and they have the end of the year signing book, the year signing. That was really fun. Kids love that. So,
yeah, we have a day at the end of the year, and every grade comes to the gym at the same time. They get their yearbook, and then they get to sign autographs. So it's not just in your class, the whole grade, especially as they get older and they know kids that were in other classes. It's a fun party. They get yearbooks. It makes our job easy, and then we have music, and it's a fun end of year.
So I was going to ask about the EDU kits. Do they have to be delivered to the classroom? Is that a hard thing? That's a non-negotiable?
That was part of the selling point.
That was part of the
you don't
selling
have
point.
to carry your supplies. They're there for you when you get there.
Okay.
Well, I mean, are you asking for you?
No, not for me, but just my daughter went to a different school before we came to Socrates, and it did the same thing, but it was set up alphabetically in like a big, large resource room where it was already put everybody alphabetically, and you had a list, and they came up and said, Allie Gray, and it was handed to Allie Gray, and then Allie Gray brought it with my daughter to her classroom. So if you're going to have these, say, 500, maybe?
Actually, we sold 150, 160 kits.
Okay, that's not too bad. To be able to
we love
deliver.
to sell 500.
We would love it if everybody bought one. At this point, I believe it's manageable, and maybe, at least in my opinion, cutting down on some of the chaos just because there are so many common areas that are already being used. Like in here, there are things going on.
Right.
And right now, I think we're okay. I hope I see the day we sell 500, and we really need to do that. I think we're okay at the moment. So that's a great idea to keep in mind in case we do that again.
I can say, if you grow it in the future, and I mean, I'm going to buy one. I've been very lazy. My stomach's been bonkers.
You and 150 others, girl. Don't feel bad.
Girl. But I think it was $170. And I don't know if some parents would think, well, gosh, I can go to Walmart or Target. But I think that they have to realize that, they're paying a time tax in that and just schlepping and looking and getting, and maybe more of a breakdown of what you're getting versus the time you're going to have to spend going to get it.
Well, and I will say that the prices are very comparable. We do get a markup, but it's small.
Mm-hmm.
And there were actually 2 grades this year, and I cannot recall which 2. If I looked at the list, I'd be able to tell you. They had a higher dollar amount on the supplies that we requested, and our rep suggested to me that perhaps there's so much worse than the others, because when you look at it, I mean, you can easily see what everyone else is when you're ordering. You can go, oh, hey, let's do the first grade this way. Whoa, there's just $50 less. We did do a smaller markup on those to try and make the list look more comparable and try and help with the sticker shock. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're paying it for convenience. It's like paying for cut-up fruit. You could buy it yourself and cut it yourself.
The kids that are buying their own supplies, do they get to keep them? Because I know last year when I ordered some EduKit, like almost all the things that I was buying were just going to go into a pot.
Everyone,
expensive.
If an EduKit kid shares their color pencils, so does the kid who bought their color pencils. So the teachers choose which items they want to use in their classroom to be shared, to maybe put in a basket in the middle of that table, rather than all of the kids keeping it in their desk.
So it's teacher specific.
Yeah. And it's really great.
Those are designated on the detailed list. Like if you go on there now, it's like you need to go to Walmart and buy your supplies. Those are marked on there. So the EduKit one may not indicate whether it's shared or not, but if you were to cross-reference it to the supply list that's on the website for someone now, they are marked on like individual or
I did that last year, and most of the stuff was just going to be put in a pot and share.
And that seems like how a lot
And
of
then,
things
so that's what I was trying to tell, because they like to pick out their
But it's
supplies,
not-
but then they don't like to give it to somebody else to use. But that's an incentive too, like you have
It's
to
not a
keep it to
punishment for the
support the kids.
educated. Like they are not the only ones having to share. And when you see, you did that good. When you see everybody come in and they start divvying things out, they're divvying according to what the teacher's asking them to do.
Yeah.
So personally, I know this sounds awful because I'm the educate rep. I didn't buy one this year. We had half the stuff we needed already, and it seemed excessive this year. Maybe next year, I'm going into middle school and it's a different kind of list, we will buy it. This year I didn't. But I'm going to walk in with my stuff and divvy it up and put it into the same places that the teacher
That
does.
everybody else is coming.
It's just mine coming out of my Walmart bag, everybody else's is coming out of their little packed box. But it all goes the same way. And there's some things that you keep, like the Trapper Keeper. That was a big one for us this year. First year's the Trapper Keeper. My daughter had to pick. It's the same. Mom, I don't want the educate Trapper Keeper. So, she keeps that, and then, things that are labeled, maybe if it helps cushion the blow of having to share all their stuff, take note of what's listed as needing to be labeled. Let them put a little more time into the things that need to be labeled, so people know about, and
Is this going to help? I know in the past, the first day of school, you bring your 3 reams of paper and your 4 boxes of tissues, and I haven't gotten a list of that yet.
It should be on the website.
It's on the website? Okay.
So did you do educate?
Not yet.
Oh, I think the deadline was August 1st, so there's
Well, I
no
guess I'm
order.
doing it now, so.
Yeah, but bring it meet and greet though. So bring it on the first day.
Yes, at the open house.
That's open house. Okay.
But it does list it out. I know Mike is great this year. They were very specific on 8, 10 items, moving towards children's items.
Right.
And the rest of this stuff is just for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Quick note about the wish list, because you're saying you wanted to see more. I was in room month class, and we actually just managed one within the classroom pretty much every year. There were 2 years I had teachers that just maybe didn't feel comfortable asking, and I'd have to go, hey, it's December. Are you running out of things? What do you need? And we would manage one in our room. But if we wanted it to be something bigger with the school-wide wish list, perhaps there's a way to streamline that, and we could maybe talk to the homeroom parent reps, the 2 reps, and see what their thought is.
Well, and last year, it being a new process, there was a learning curve. There were still some teachers that would send out on their weekly email the things they needed, and if I saw it, I would remind them. The reason for it is that a second grade classroom might need Clorox wipes. Maybe certain teachers are really good about asking for supplies, so those parents kept getting hit. But there might be a 5th grade teacher that would be happy to go buy a big box of Clorox wipes, and they don't care where it goes. So the idea was that we're one school, would support each other, not just that teacher in that classroom. So those 20 parents aren't being hit because they have a very organized teacher, and these other teachers not getting support because they forgot to ask for it, or their teachers, maybe their parents weren't as generous as someone else's. So it was a way for the teachers to just say, here's what we need, and then the coordinator, the wish list coordinator, when she'll manage the sign-up team, and then we're looking into having a drop box instead of it having to come in and it may or may not come labeled. We ask for it to be labeled. It may or may not come labeled. And so it's a little confusing figuring out where some things go. She's going to come in 3 times a week, look at all the supplies, and then divvy them up. And she'll know what was on the wish list, so she'll be familiar with where they need to belong. So I actually would encourage, and we should make a note to encourage the homeroom parents this year, if you notice your teacher doing that, remind them the process. Not like, hey, this is how people want to do it. The process for Socrates Academy is when you need supplies, it goes to the wish list.
Now, have the 2 representatives of the homeroom moms, are they Gina and
Jessica.
Yes.
Yes.
They know better.
They're learning what homeroom parents are you and Maria. Yeah. Homeroom parents are Sarah and Maria this year.
Okay.
They're Gina and Jessica, staff appreciation. Yeah. So that's something that we can make sure we train them on. And it was so new last year. Some teachers were all about it, and others just didn't understand how they would go about doing it. So it'll hopefully we'll see more use of it this year. But and in that way, the teachers, if they could email their families and say, hey, I have a few items on the wish list. And so the parents can still go buy for their teacher, but while they're there, they might also buy a few other things. So it's our way of feeding everybody back to that one sign-up instead of it coming in like 5 different places.
Well, we're asked as homeroom parents to have like a free full sit-down through the year with the teacher just to kind of get familiar with them and see what their needs are. And because every year that I've done it has been drastically different depending on the person. Maybe that could be a line item that the homeroom parents are encouraged to discuss along with like, you know, hey, what do you need?
That's a great idea.
Here's how to do it. Maybe it could be a part of that, like, there's like a little handbook.
Yeah, we can have that.
It can be put in there.
That's a great idea.
And it doesn't have to be so intimidating towards you. Oh gosh, I need this. Did I forget? Is it too late? We can say at the first of every month, you know, tell the room parents what you need, and we'll put it on the wish list.
Yeah.
Well, and there's an anonymity in it because, you know, the teacher's not going, oh, man, I asked for like 5 things last week and I totally forgot these other 2. I feel really bad asking. Nobody necessarily knows it's going to them.
Exactly.
So they can ask for what they feel like they need to ask for without the guilt.
Yeah. I like the idea of having the homeroom parents be that liaison with the teachers. I think that'll be helpful. Well, so let's keep moving. The next...
Sure. Back to the etiquette one more time. Are they customizable? Can you do things a la carte, or do you have to do
It kind of is what it is. There are a couple of options, so like you can do it with or without headphones because how many more pairs of headphones do you need? And then there are a couple of grades that say like A through L bring this and M through D bring this. That's really about it.
Okay.
All right, so the next activity group is our communication.
See here, I'm marking this Facebook page. So I'm going to try to be as productive as possible and try to have every single day a post. So the page keeps moving. What I'm trying to figure out is how to get it out there. There's a lot of friends that are on Facebook, but they don't like the page. And we're going to give a lot of information about everything that has to do with the school and the PFI, and we need to find a way for the parents to go there at the point of knowing everything, especially new parents. It's about events, about sign-up, about wish lists, about everything that is going on. I also need to send, and that's what I've been working on with, an email to all the officers to see how best to communicate what they need for me to post there. Usually it's just email or text or wherever people can, but these, I will need, I already had a little bit of conversation with Christian on email. Officers, secretary can choose to give me just a verse, or if they want me to do it, I can do that, but I just need a couple things, like the information that you need, and if you want pictures of the dates that you need me to post. But other than that, it's just straight.
Cool. Any idea how many followers you have on Facebook? Like roughly
400, I think?
Yeah.
Almost. And so a lot of them might be people that used to come to the, they may not be active, but they just feel like the page, and they may never be showing up in their newsfeed, but they're on there. But we actually, we were like at 300 last year at this time. We did a lot of work this year to pump that communication side of things, and we've seen a significant increase in involvement. The other way that we communicate at the school is through the weekly Front View Connection email, and I believe we haven't had a chance to chat about it, but Brittany's going to help us with that part as well. So Brittany in there will be, for anyone who's coordinating an event, they will be your contact when you want to promote it. So we haven't developed the system, like you said, we haven't developed the system for it, but that will be in progress, and we'll make sure that all of the coordinators and officers are aware of how to go about promoting our stuff. Because a lot of times there'll be overlap. It might go on the connection, and then maybe 2 times a week we put on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people to give me kind of dates. I need it like a couple times this week or that week, so I can organize it so we don't have like 3 posts one day and nothing the next day. So just kind of like have an even big string of things.
So moving down, we will have our meetings this year. I mentioned earlier we're going to have more evening meetings this year. They are not going to be like necessarily the 4th Thursday, but they are probably going to be Thursday nights at 6:30 in here. And I will send the full year out by the next meeting. The next meeting is going to be September 19th. And we're going to try, assuming this recording goes well, we're going to try to continue the live stream function for anyone who needs to give a report. So if you've had activity in your event, or it's coming up and you need to give some feedback, there is a function on here for it to be a conference call. So if you were at home and you needed to give your report, I can turn it on and then you can actually speak. So we have one person speaking right now, but it doesn't show me who they are. So whoever you are, hello. But I could turn it on so you could speak from home. So it's not just, like we did last year, we tried the Facebook feed, that's just video. So this one, we're recording it, and we'll post it. Someone could be watching now, but you could also be getting your report virtually. So hopefully for people who can't be here in person in the evening, it still allows communication. So we will try that as these months go, and if it's not working, we'll change it. And if we get better technology, then, so this program I found is free, so yay for free. And assuming it works, we'll keep doing it. So the other thing that we are going to try to bring in this year is volunteer appreciation. We do a lot with staff, and our volunteers give a lot back to our school. And in the last 2 years, we've done the magnet for when you've got your 36 hours, you get that fun 36-hour magnet. And we are going to probably continue that, but we wanted to do a little something extra. So we are going to plan an event at the end of the year, probably a very casual ice cream social sometime at the end of May. And anyone who's earned their 36 hours gets to come. And it's a way of just saying, thank you. And actually, administration has said that they and maybe the teachers will actually be the ones to serve. And I think it's going to be great. I really am excited for all of you who are putting so much in all year to have a place where you can come and just sort of wrap up the year, socialize, and not be doing the work. Because we have a lot of events that are going to happen this year, and I know that most of you are going to be at all of them. So, because that's how it is, the certain families just show up. So we're going to see how that goes, but it's really important to me that we all appreciate each other, and then for each of you that are going to be coordinating a team and you have volunteers under you, that personal touch, that just telling them thank you after they served at a shift, or if we had a work day, just send them a note or send them a text later and say, hey, thanks again for coming out. Just that, to create that culture of appreciation among our families and helping people feel like they're valued and that they really belong. That's important to me, that our organization is like that. So before we get to any other discussion of these, which I think is great, we've already had that, I'm going to let Fran sort of talk the number side of everything you just heard about.
Rebecca, I just had a question
Sure.
about the meetings. Will we have any time, like the officers before, to kind of go over like little just housekeeping things?
We can schedule some of that time if we
need it.
Yeah.
Just details that probably most people won't be very interested in, or feel I don't want to waste a lot of time.
We can, and then also most of the people in this room are familiar with it, but the group me that we use, that's a great way for those kind of things to be handled. For those who aren't on it, we use an app called GroupMe, and we have multiple threads, and I'd like to expand that a little this year for each of our teams as well. Last year we had one thread for the officers and the committee chairs. and then we had another just for the officers. And then I had smaller ones, like for what we then called hospitality, that's now staff appreciation. I had a separate one for communications. So it's basically a way for each of our teams to chat without it being mass email. And you can download the app and turn off notifications if you don't want to be alerted every time someone says, and sometimes the conversation is not necessarily about agenda items, and that's fine. But I'd really like to see us expand the use of that as well. So, you know, maybe you have one for school store with all your volunteers, and then I'm on that, so I can just be abreast of what's happening without you having to necessarily send me a separate note telling me what's going on. So we may increase the involvement of that. And so for anyone who's coordinating something, if you're not on that, we will make sure you're on it. But I think most, just be sure you are, I'll send you information on it. Yeah, so that may be a good way. If we ever need a separate meeting or a time that's ahead of it or something, we can coordinate that.
Okay, very good.
All right, yeah, take it away.
Okay. So the way our budget really works, the way we propose it, is that basically we're not looking to make a profit in the year. Or income matches our expenses. So, and that's what you see here. And Rebecca this year has really met with all of our teams to get a very detailed list of events that are going to happen throughout the year. So we really have a more detailed budget than I've only seen last year's. Really, I was involved a little bit in that budget planning with my co-treasurer, Renata Hughes, last year. And this year, it's really very detailed. With that said, I think that Rebecca went over before the Spirit Night. That's different this year. We're not budgeting for income for that because each grade will do their thing and hopefully use the money for something exciting for their grade. Other than that, we're really basically in line with the past several years. Now, luckily, we usually do wind up with a profit at the end of the year. And when that happens, we can vote on what to do with this money. A few years ago, we purchased sunshades for the school, the playground. That's something that came from us. And the PFI, the families, this money. And Rebecca, I don't know if we can talk about this year.
Yeah, they're installed because they're paid the bill yet. We haven't gotten the bill. We still haven't paid our bill. They haven't sent us the bill. But they're up. They're done.
That will go well, but
there's one down the hall. If you haven't seen, we purchased the water refilling station for the water fountain to refill the bottle. But the one down the hall I saw, and then there was 5. We'd originally thought we'd do 6. The gym one could not be retrofitted, so we only did 5. So, we'll pay it when they send it.
So that's like a big kind of gift, for all of us to give back to the school. But we don't budget, for that. We're budgeting to say, these are the things we're proposing, this is what's going to be our income, and our expenses probably might match it. And if we happen to have something after that, then that's a pleasant surprise. And I know, Rebecca, you mentioned before we may possibly, I don't know if you
I can see on that.
It might be a change that.
Well, I hadn't had a chance to tell Amy yet, so she's going to learn about this too. The yearbook may be moving to the school. It is already, the design of the middle school yearbook already comes from the school, and we've been discussing the idea of maybe the school has someone on staff who manages the design of the elementary. It'll be a transition, and so you will probably still be involved in it, but as far as the sales of the yearbook, that may be taken over by the school, which is around $3,000 or so that we would no longer have. So I just found out about that, so that's reflected in the sheet you have, but we have not reflected that on the expenses. So we will need to decide, okay, that's $3,000 less we may have, what are we going to cut out? And so we'll chat about that in a second, because I welcome everyone in this room feedback on what we may do. I've got a few ideas, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. And then on here, just because, as Sarah mentioned earlier, a lot of the events we do this year, we're going to be partnering with Student Council, like the middle school dances and the game nights and things like that. That has traditionally been done by Student Council with maybe some family involvement and not PFI's involvement. And so we're going to work together this year, and PFI is going to help manage, you know, in the past it's been fill out this permission slip form and send in $5. We're going to manage that side of it so we can track the money that comes in and show where it's going in the end. And we may help pre-purchase any supplies that are needed, but subsequently we may also sell concessions, which may make several $100s at each of these events. So we have in here as them only needing $50 each. That's why there's so many events and they just say 50, because we've never done it before. Our goal is that we break even. Chances are we will make money, but we don't know what that looks like yet because it's never been done this way. So we didn't want to put in here an expectation of income that may not happen. So next year we'll have a better picture, and we'll be able to, you know, maybe we realize we actually will generate a lot more income than we are planning for this year. But almost all of those events will have some sort of a money-generating opportunity, whether it's selling glow sticks at a dance or selling concessions or just the cost of someone attending the event. And maybe the cost of what we needed to buy when they needed a DJ or something didn't cost as much. You know, there will chances are we will make money, but we don't know what exactly that is yet. Let's take a minute, and we talked about a lot of these events earlier as far as questions, but I would welcome everyone in this room's thoughts on if you see anything listed here that you think, gosh, why do we do that? Or you had an idea of something that you really would like to see us do, and maybe we can replace. You know, this is the time for us to make those decisions, because then we will finalize this, and that's our schedule for the year. If we have great ideas come up, it probably won't make it into this year's calendar. I can't say it won't, but we will probably consider any new ideas for next year. We will most likely finalize this and try to stick with it. So, and on that, which items in here could we potentially save? So, the floor is open.
I guess I'll go first. My eyes automatically jump to the biggest number for whatever reason. So that, and so you can get into your staff. Yeah.
Let me explain what that is. Yes, great question. So on the 19th is the day the staff comes back to work, and usually that first week PFI does a luncheon. And it's going to be that day. So we're actually going to do it on the 19th this year as a sort of welcome back, because everyone is going to be here that day. And what we have done for several years is actually give cash to every teacher, and we say, this is for you, because we know teachers are spending out of pocket for supplies. So we have had, in the past, it has been $50 for every full-time teacher, and they've done, several years ago, done gift cards. The last 2 years, it actually just been a $50 bill. And last year, we included assistants and administrative office staff and things like that as well. So it wasn't just full-time, you know, teachers with a room. So that number has gotten higher every year because there's so many more teachers, and we were trying to support the associates as well. But that is absolutely one of the areas that I'm thinking maybe we give them $20 instead of $50, or maybe we decide it's something we can't support this year, and maybe we just. But I hate to take that away, but it's an extra thing. We're going to do the luncheon for sure, but that is one of the areas that's worth us deciding what that's going to look like. I think we had 95 staff members last year that we supported. That number may not be exactly right, and I think we gave 50 to full-time and 20 to associates and part-time teachers. So, yeah, let's chat about that. What do you guys think?
Can I ask what the reasoning was to have
yearbook not under PFI?
This is literally, I had a conversation that has not happened, but I was and I was told not to quote that this is a for sure deal, but it is probably going to happen, simply because it is soft as the school should be really good. That's about as specific as I have. I don't want to say something that's not true, but it's the idea has been presented to administration that the school should be in charge of yearbooks. And I don't disagree, to be honest. I was historian for 2 years before I was on this, and yearbook is a very big job. Our yearbook for the last several years has been coordinated by Jessica Daniel, who works for the yearbook company, so it made sense. And this year she wanted to do something different, so that's why we brought on someone new to take over. So it's going to be a really big job this year of figuring out what that looks like. Most schools, it's teachers who do the yearbook, and they need to get some support. So the fact that PFI has been running it for a few years, it made sense when it was Jessica. I've already asked Amy, like, do you want me to ask for someone on staff to help you? You know, I've already put that out there before this conversation came up. I would not object to them taking it just because that's a big responsibility we wouldn't share.
Is that not something that kids can get on? I mean, I know that I had friends who were on the yearbook staff.
A few years ago, middle school, there was a yearbook club, and Janice did the middle school yearbook, and she tried to do it, and I think it was difficult, but she coordinated it, like, during the school with middle school kids, and that was apparently hard. So I don't know. To be honest, we've struggled for several years on how to make yearbook a group thing, and it's been 2 people doing this whole thing. That's not really conducive to what our organization does. You know, we're all about getting people involved. So it's tricky.
I think yearbook, I don't think I'm crazy. Yearbook was an elective when I was in middle school, except that because it was a big responsibility, you had to have the recommendation of a teacher, so that not everybody is signing up for yearbook. And you get kids who actually are committed to making it look nice. And so it was like based on grades. So like if 50 people want it, that's not happening. So you get your teacher recommendation, and then you get the kids with high GPAs who can handle the extra responsibility of doing yearbook. And then that was an elective for them because they are managing the yearbook. And it was a big deal. We all died.
Yeah, I remember making my 8th grade yearbook years ago. I think that there's a lot to it, and as I say, this is something I learned like 2 hours before the meeting, so I don't have details, but I didn't want us to come into this meeting and approve everything on the expense side, and then find out in 2 weeks that we really do have $3,000 left. So I want us to approach it as if we don't have it, and then we'll work through the details, and those will be future conversations for sure, because maybe there's a way where we are involved, but maybe we don't generate, you know, I don't know what it's going to look like. Okay. But I'd like for us to approach it as if that money is not ours. Okay.
They offer any alternative options to raise $2,000?
It's like, say, literally an hour and a half ago. Yeah, and that's why I asked for a little clarification. I was informed we might lose some of our fundraising money, and I asked for, can you let me know which ones? And that was what I was told, but it was, again, it's still very broad. So that's the one I was informed about, and so let's go off of that assumption, and then hopefully by our next meeting, I have some clarification on that. I will expect to have clarification by September.
I want to know why PFI doesn't run fundraising for the schools.
That is a bigger school conversation.
Yeah. It's partly because we're a charter, and the charter school has to have an independent foundation.
Okay. We're run by our own board, whereas CMS, their school board runs many schools. Yeah. We are run by our own, and all of the financial decisions are run through them and the board of trustees. It's just different in the charter school. It's just a different ballgame.
They're required by law to have a foundation. Charter schools are. So the foundation is in charge of everything outside of paying the teacher's salary. So to keep the lights on, keep the buildings maintained, buy land, any of that comes from the foundation.
And charter schools are very limited because we do get public funding, but there are rules about what that public funding can be spent toward. So like she said, they can't pay for the piece of land that was just purchased with public funding. They have to put that public funding into the classroom. So it's pay teachers and supplies and things like actually physically teaching the children is what that has to be spent on. So there has to be a way to turn the lights on and to repair the AC unit 25 times. And the plumbing issues we've been having, there have to be ways to do that. So that's what the foundation is for.
And there are schools where they might raise $80,000 and a big chunk of that goes towards things at the school, but the structure of it was created well before every one of these people came along. And we're not going to, I don't think we're going to try to change much of that. We're just going to do our thing.
It's a question because I just came from a CMS school, and we had something called All for One Fund. And, you know, there was no booster funds, there was nothing, it was 100% profit. And our school made $100,000, which in turn the PTA was able to turn around and put smart boards in all of the classrooms. So I was wondering why the PFI couldn't be in charge of this if this is really the advocate for the students.
It's a great question. There's the structure is it can be confusing. There's a lot of different ways funds come in and out of the school, and I couldn't tell you a straight answer on to why. I can just tell you that that's how it's not really necessarily.
I get that.
Yeah.
And the staff gift, the $5,000, I think it's a great idea to give to the teachers because they are putting their own money out. Maybe some of that can be filtered back into that wish list that wants to be created.
You can encourage them to use that.
Yeah.
Well, and last year we had the planners, disaster of 2018. The great planners. So, like, is there an extra gift as well, like the planner last year?
Yeah.
Or is it just the cash? Or
So it's much smaller, but this year we have these penny box, whichever we can take. It's not much of anything. No, we don't have anything like that planned already.
So that would be one less expense.
It would be. Yeah, that was several $1,000s last year as well. So I
think we could bump up the budget a little bit for the SOAR program, especially if we're going to make a push for Harris Teeter, because last year we did about 4,300, and that's 4 programs, and we're budgeting for 3. Okay. This year, I don't. Yeah.
I think to make the teachers suffer.
That's the same. The ones I wanted to
Just trying to see if we
well, and that's the thing, if we bump it, we just have to commit
we have to commit to
really pushing that to the program.
Well, most of the number last year was from Educate.
Yeah, which we broke out separately this year.
Which you have, the number, last year we made like 2,800 on Educate. This year,
We were right there. We were 27.
26 or something. So we have that. That's like a big part of it already. And then if we kind of just push a little bit ahead.
So right now we have on the SOAR programs at 1,000. So you think we can maybe bump it to 2, or is that too much of an ask?
I think so.
Or we just have to get a goal?
Or is there something we can look at later in the year, just so that when we do know what the implications will be of the yearbook, we can make a choice for something that happens like after Christmas, instead of going as far as saying, oh, we can't give you your $50. It's the very beginning of the year. It's the very first thing that happens. And then maybe it's not that bad after all, and we get more money than we think we did. And we didn't, we gypped them on their gifts and didn't have to.
Well, in our budget, we have $50 on all of these events. We could literally put them in the budget of 0, knowing our goal is to break even, not to have to spend 50, and that's probably several $100s right there. What we have to do as a nonprofit organization, we have to present our budget and it has to match. So we can't say we are going to make $15,000 and we're going to spend $18,000. Like, we can't say that. We could say we're going to use the extra funds as part of the staff gift. We could get the money from other places, but our budget has to align, at least to start the, at least to start the year. Actually, we can't start with it not matching up. Just like we can't show a profit. It just couldn't be flipped. And we're like, oh, we're just planning to make $3,000. That money has to go somewhere. But I do, okay, so if we bump store programs through round 2, and actually the EduKit, I wrote it in the budget at $2,000, so that's another at least $500, assuming there might be some return. So that bumps us,
that was, sorry, I misquoted, that was $25.71.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down. So, but if we put it in the budget at $2,500, just in case there was some return or something, then we're only looking at $1,500 now.
Well, and I'm not a numbers person. I could be totally off on this, but I'm looking over here at our bank balance as of July 31st, and it is still well above our total expenses.
So we haven't paid for the water fountain, and that will be, now that we only did 5 instead of 6, that will probably be maybe around 8,000 to 9,000, maybe less. I haven't seen the final numbers, but we had estimated close to $10,000 for those. So that will have to come out of this. And what we discussed is written in that bottom paragraph. We want our bank balance to begin the year with enough money to fund everything that will happen that year. And then anything that's left is what will go into that project account that can be used as a gift to the next gift to the school. So yes, any of that money is available, but we would have to, and we could do it tonight. We would have to vote that money can be used for this year to be that $3,000 if they take it. Like we can leave the yearbook in our budget and make a vote that if that money is taken from us, we will supplement this year with $3,000 from the bank balance or something to that effect. As long as it's an official decision, we could use that money. And then if they end up not taking the yearbook away, then we still have that $3,000. So that's certainly an option as well, or $1,500 at this point now, because we've changed a couple things anyway.
Now, has the actual math been done for staff appreciation yet? Like, have we actually said teachers times?
No, I was going off of 100, so we don't know our staff list yet. So it's not necessarily an exact number. Last year we didn't spend as much as we had budgeted for, so we were under.
It's like the COGS or the mini grant. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not saying I want to raise money out of the budget, but it's somewhere to go from.
Well, at least that's what
we
could.
It seems like the past few years it hasn't been utilized.
Yeah.
I wish that it was utilized.
No, but so I hadn't spoken on that, but I can touch on it a little bit, and I'll get into more details at the end. I have it in as one of our new business items because we're going to be changing the name. But in referencing for what it was, we'll just refer to them as mini grants. For those that don't know what that is, in the past it's been called Teach Unique Grants, and teachers can apply for something out of the box that they would like to offer in their classroom, or for the grade, or for the school. It needs to have a large school impact, so it's not necessarily just one classroom. It would need to be shown how it will affect all of second grade and also used by fifth grade, and also, it needs to somehow have a bigger picture. And they've been around $250 each. Often they have been more than that, so we had already thought that we would increase that number this year because things cost more than they did when this policy when this grant was created several years ago. So I spoke with Jessica and Gina about it, and we were thinking usually there's 3 periods a year, 3 application periods, and then the officers get together and review these grants, and they have to match certain criteria, and then they have to also then be approved by administration. So there is a big process in selecting them, and some of them do not qualify. The process is it's confusing for some teachers on what they should even apply for. So we're challenging them. It's not books, it's not technology, it's creative software or a useful tool. It's the dash and dot robots came out of it. The escape room, technology escape room thing that Mrs. Tyler did came out of it. Is it Sorry, I got confused by the iPad over there. So we were discussing the idea of them being $1,200 a period and bumping them to like $300 each. So we're essentially granting 4 per period instead of it being maybe in October we got 8 and then there's no money left for these other sections. So that's kind of our idea of changing. We can grant 3 to 4 grants every period, and if it's a great one, it can go into the pot for the next one. Do 3 in application periods, which saves us more money.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's more because we're losing the restaurant spirit, night income, and then if we lose also the yearbook.
But that restaurant spirit night income could be used for the teachers to buy books or buy some of the resources that did not get approved for the what they still want. You know, so it's now money that's less restricted. So that's actually that's probably a good idea. And
I feel better about that than, I mean,
the staff, yeah.
I'm just imagining, I teach big school, I get it, not quite the same thing, like, if I walked in the first day, and first of all, somebody sent me, and second of all, they gave me $50 and said, I appreciate you, please just spend this on my classroom.
Yeah.
Today, it makes the fattest number and the stuff a whole lot.
So the other thing that we're hoping to do at that luncheon this year, again, this partnership with Student Council. In the past, PFI has had some events. They may or may not be well attended, and they definitely didn't necessarily have a lot of teachers there. Then there might be some Student Council events where a lot of teachers come and help out, and families participate. And so I saw that discrepancy, and that's why I said, why can't we have school events, and then we all work together to make these events successful? So we are going to, with the Student Council reps, speak at the luncheon to all these teachers, and explain to them that we would like for them to commit to 1 or 2 events every year. I'd also like for them to commit to 1 or 2 PFI meetings a year, because this is supposed to be a collaboration with faculty. And if we are asking them to do that, and we have sign-up sheets along here that they can come by and sign up for 1 event all year long, and then they walk on the line and we're giving them money.
And we give them the money first, right?
Yeah.
Give them the money first.
So that association, yeah, good point. So the association, we're giving them the money regardless, but maybe it would help them understand, we're giving you this money, all we're asking is you show up 1 time a year and participate. And maybe it'll help make that connection.
And it's big for the kids to see their teachers there.
That's why the families come. The families and the kids come because they know their peers are going to be there, and then they know their friends are going to be there. And then we change the culture of our school, and people actually show up for things.
My daughter's going to go to the father-daughter dance, talking more about seeing her teachers dancing and having fun than about friendship.
Yeah. So let's bump the wish list to $900 a period, which is 27 for the year, 2,700, and that saves us $900 there, right? And I'm not doing the math right now, friends. I bumped up educate to 2,500, and we bumped store programs to 2,000.
What about school store? Did you bump that to 5?
School store, we had a 3. Yeah, you feel good about that? 3 was probably a very modest number, wasn't it?
Definitely.
I think we did 600 or something like that.
See, now we've already made up half.
Yeah, we've already.
Are we doing the district break?
You know, well, I didn't hear it where it could be last year, Student Council did a pumpkin contest in the fall, and then PFI for the last 2 years did
Like we used to be gingerbread drum there for and now we can only get it like a few times. And I don't know, just because it's the first time. that's my.
I don't want there to be conflicting noises. If you want to say something, you can finish that. Do you want to, was it big or was it
Amy
small?
was saying spirit wear, like to increase the, but I was just saying I'm worried only because you're changing the process. That I don't know. It's our first year, because we made a lot in spirit wear last year.
We might make more there.
Like $7,000.
That's a good one to bump up
year, so we could.
And I know since we're going to have a limited inventory, it's true, why would you want all that? We won't sit in there.
Much money.
But kids need refreshers, and mine lost all of her freaking sweatshirts. So, you know, it might be, hey, it's spring refresher time. Your kids probably lost everything, and their spirit shirts are probably too small now, or have paint all over them.
So we did a lot of adjustments. Let's check the numbers, and if we need to make the budget match, then we're great to add something, and then we should be good. But on the gingerbread, PFI sponsored it the last 2 years, and it was no entry fee, just make a house, have them on display, and then we had a contest, and then we gave prizes to the winners. I actually said that would be a great thing for student council to do, and just handle it on their own, or maybe they have some other student group involved for the pumpkin thing, and that it, as of now, won't really be our thing, but it'll probably still happen because I think people really like it. And then the only thing I suggested to them was make sure that it's done the week that people are going to be here. Like there's usually a band concert or some other stuff. Like that way it looks so nice and people coming to school that appreciate it. So it'll probably still happen, but as of now, it's not going to be our event. So let's check those numbers out. I'm pretty sure we're close, and if we...
So what we were adding $500 to Educate.
Yes.
Adding $200 to the school store.
Yes.
Adding $1,000 to the store program.
Yes.
Possibly taking out yearbook.
Yes.
And then the mini grant for them.
Taking that down to 27.
27.
Yes.
Okay.
And if we had any more bucks in there, we can adjust it from here to there. But we're close at least. I'm not doing the math in my head, but we're close.
Yeah, that's 2,600.
Can this fluctuate like the mini grant? Like if you do find out that it wasn't as bad as we thought, or if something brings a little more money, we can always change our budget. We just need to be able to present it. I have to send it tomorrow, and we have to present it next week at the board meeting. The board has to approve it. So we need to have a good idea of it today so we can, but it can change. We could vote next month to adjust it, and as long as it's a vote to do it, we can change our budget all day long. We just need to match because of the nonprofit. So while she is verifying our numbers,
I think we added 2,600.
Okay.
And then we took out the yearbook, right? Just to be on the safe side. So
we're close.
I think so.
All right. Any other comments about activities, the numbers, any other thoughts? No?
I just had like a few, and I don't know, this might be one of those separate conversations, but maybe not. So I was mentioning to you, I would like to, I'm going to create an email address like to be the treasurer. So not like my personal email address, just something so I make sure that I get all the emails timely and they don't get mixed up with anything else. So if it is, Socrates, my treasurer seems a little long.
I think it's like right now, like this one is Socrates PFI. I think it could be PFI treasurer.
Just PFI treasurer.
Yeah.
Okay.
That will probably be fine.
Okay.
If that's available. I assume it probably is.
Okay, on Gmail. So
yeah, that's really easy for people to remember.
I will send everybody else as, if you have any receipts or anything to send to me, then this will be the, this will be the email address. Also, my co-treasurer, she had given me this form. I haven't had to submit any receipts for reimbursement, but she forwarded to me this form, but I tried to look for it on.
I've never seen that form before. I would love for us to have a form, but I've never seen it.
Okay. I tried to look on the website for it, but there's a different.
Send it to me. I'll make you a form, and it'll live on the Google Drive, and I'll make sure everyone has a link.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be on the website because general public won't be using it,
Yeah.
but everyone who's coordinating something needs to have it.
Okay.
But yeah, send me what she sent you, and then or mark it up if you have changes you want to make or whatever.
So what she was saying, and Mrs. Fuse, who was the treasurer, she was also the librarian here, one of the librarians. So she was in the school. She was able to visit the classrooms if she wrote, a check, and she could bring it and drop it off. So, your child could bring the check home to you or something. I don't work here, so I'm not able to do that. So she was saying when she started soon, it was easier. It's just if you wanted, I can mail it to your home, so there's no delay or something like that. So if you do send me anything, I guess just let me know how you'd like to get.
Would it be at all possible to have
like PayPal?
PFI PayPal?
We have an account. There's no reason
so that was another thing she spoke about. If we want,
maybe on the form we could have a checkbox on how you'd like to receive your reimbursement. Yeah. And then, but it will still need to be an understanding, like if it needs to be immediate, like you need something expedited, you need to call Fred and tell her. Otherwise, give it a few days.
Yeah. So I'll send
that. Sounds good. Yeah.
That was good. And then I don't have a key to the PFI mailbox.
She didn't give you that? We're not supposed to give you that.
Let me see if I.
It's a tiny one.
Okay.
You and I are the only ones who have access to that.
Okay.
Well, and since you're talking money side of things, when it comes to purchasing supplies, Fran and I have credit cards. If it comes to needing a check for some vendor, or it comes to needing reimbursement, that goes to Fran. If something needs to be purchased for an event that you're doing or supplies, the preferred method is that you buy it and get reimbursed. If that is going to be a problem, please contact me and I will do what I can, but I cannot give you my credit card. We had issues a few years ago and that is not going to happen. So we will reimburse you quickly, or I will figure out how I can pay. If it's online, I will pay for it with my card. But Fran or I can give our credit cards to anybody for purchases. We just have to be restricted on that.
And along those lines, Rebecca, both of us need to go to the bank together to fill out new signature forms.
Okay.
These are just little things we have to handle, and also as far as taking Renata off of the account, she said I need to fill out like on letterhead, just something saying on this date, this person was removed.
I have the form that they used or the letter they used last year. Do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to do. Yeah, perfect.
And then the other thing was just, and I don't know if we need to speak about it tonight, we started to talk about if there is an event and how the money is handled, who, counts it. There are 2 people that should be present counting it. I got this from the bank. This is,
we bought a safe that is going to live in the PFI room. The officers will have the code. So at any event, there should be an officer present who, with someone else, can count the money at the end of the event and put it in the safe. And that
put it like
come get it. Yeah.
So this envelope, we can seal it. So after it's counted, seal it and then put it in there, and then I would come and make the deposit.
I think that sounds like a good plan. And we'll try it out for a few events to make sure it works.
Yeah, so I just don't know, say tomorrow night is the first event.
It stays in my living room and I'm bringing it to the kitchen. I'm bringing it to the fire tomorrow. I'll put it in the space.
What it feels like just to say, you know, how to set up like school, just to make sure we're covered around who's counting and what the process is. And I don't know if I need to be coordinating that.
Let's at the next few events, I will be present when money's involved. So let me try a few things out, and by September, let's have a formal process on how we want it before all these big events start happening. Make that an item that we figure out, and then we can vote on that process at the next meeting. Does that sound fair to everybody? Okay. So like tomorrow, and then the open house, and we can try. Those are our two big legitimate money at the next few weeks. We can see how it works and kind of go from there. So sounds good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's going to be a new problem. We've never done it this way, but I think that I think we're going to deal with a lot more money than we have before. So, and then we have our Square account for any time we have credit card payments. And the iPad there is actually was donated for the school. So we're going to be able to, it won't have to be on everybody's personal phones and things like that. We can have it moved up. And I'm going to try that tomorrow night at the middle school mixer and make sure it works. So by the time we're ready for open house to take a lot of money, we know how to do it. So, okay, well what we need to do then is officially make a motion and vote on this budget that it is ready to be submitted, knowing there could be changes, but for our first submission of events in the budget to send for approval, would anyone make a motion to approve the budget with the changes we just made? I'll make a motion. Right. Anyone second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Great. Perfect. Let's move on to the other thing that we need to decide are volunteer participation goals. And that was something that a few years ago, or I'm going to say 3 years ago, about 12% of our families served their 36 hours.
Or at least reported.
That was reported. 2 years ago, it was around 25%. Last year, it was about 47%. So we made significant improvements last year.
Public team.
Our goal last year was to increase that. I had it written as a couple of different goals. It was to increase the 36 hours to 50%, and to decrease the number of people that did nothing to 25%. I think originally that one was like 40 or something. So there's a lot of people in that middle range, which is okay. At least they're doing something. So we did. I don't have it in front of me, but we did better. We were very close to those goals. What we need to do is decide what our goals will be for this year. We will have more families with a percentage, but again, it's a lot of families that are new and excited, and we can introduce them to the culture of, yes, you need to do your 36 hours. So
I didn't know it was optional.
it's not optional. It's just a lot of people are doing it. And that is I'm not going to get kicked out of school if you don't finish the hours. So, but we want to change the culture that this is what we do. And all of these other events, hopefully they're going to increase opportunities for people to really show up and help out. Us changing it to teams and individual coordinators is less pressure on, I mean, last year 2 people did all 10 of these tax appreciation sessions. Now we have someone who's going to do each one. That's automatically new volunteers that we didn't have last year on the team, committed. And I think that's going to help change the way people think and maybe help them realize you can do one thing. It doesn't mean you're signing up to be involved in something every month all year long. So I hope that'll increase. But I have ideas of what I want those goals to be, but I'm very interested to hear what you all would like us to set those goals at. So we have the 2 goals. One is the percentage of families that serve 36 hours or more, and then the percentage of families that don't do anything. Obviously, we want it to be zero, but let's be realistic on our goals for this year. So what do you guys think?
Can you tell me the difference in the families who did zero?
Yeah, actually, I have those here.
I'm just curious how far we've come with the families that just don't fit in at all.
So what I did is just getting on the past year, they put in the names of the families who completed their hours in the next day.
That's my name. I was like, what in the world is my green?
I don't want my name to be on there.
It's like a moment, like, you know, with even if your friends that's starting to talk.
All right, so I had in 2017-18, we had 473 families. 36% actually did 36 hours, 47% did nothing, and 17% were in between 1 to 35. This last year, 41% did their 36 hours, 27% did nothing, and 32% were in that middle. So we were at 73% of families who did something. Yeah, big improvement. And I really thought we'd make it to 50%. So I was surprised that we were still only at 41. But some of those families might have served 34 hours, and we were so close. So it's not that they didn't do anything, it's just, or they might have not logged them. You know, like that's the reminder to log, and that's one of the things that any coordinators can help with when your event's over. Send that final email of like, hey, don't forget, go in and log your hours with a link, and maybe we'll do it right then.
When does cutoff for that to log the hours?
I think the school year resets on July 1st. Our PFI year resets August 1st. So we just started our school year, but I believe the school year resetted. But I think people could still like backlog. I don't know why they would at this point. But excuse me. So last year, 27% were zero. So what would you like to see that number decrease to?
15 or 10.
I would say 15.
15, I think, is reasonable. And then what is our goal of families that do their 36?
So
we were 41% last year.
So that's 12% difference. So let's say, I mean, realistically, we're not going to give the entire 12% to all of them. I mean, we could do nothing. Maybe we could split the difference, though.
So 16.
Yeah, maybe do like 25, something like that.
Should we reach higher?
I would say 55. I would increase it to 55.
More than that.
You think 55 and 53?
More than that.
I think 55.
55?
That way, we just always have it at the forefront.
I do like the idea of what we try to, we want half of
Maybe those zeros left.
And that could be a good driver, too, put out there percentages. And don't you want to be one of the 5 with a goal to hit? You know, at the end of the year, show a goal we're hitting families.
Well, realistically, our 40 new families are going to be kindergartners and first graders. They're the ones. Again, having been a room mom in kindergarten and first grade, I was like, whoa, guys, slow down. I can't help you just like they all died by second grade. Fourth grade, I was like, anybody, am I throwing the party myself? And so maybe that'll help.
Yeah. All right. So let's again just officially vote on those goals. The goal of decreasing the percentage of families that do nothing down to 15%, and increasing the number of families that do 36 hours or more to 55%. Will someone make a motion for that?
A motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great collaboration, everybody. Thank you. All right.
the final thing on the official agenda is the final 3 days, these mini grants that we had talked about. As I said, so I don't know when these were created. Well before I was on board, the idea of these CUG grants has been around. And it has stood for Teach Unique Grants. So it was recently brought up after someone saw it in writing that that is not proper grammar and that it would need to be Teach Uniquely Grants. I think it sounds good, but so rather than but that could just be because I was so used to the old name. Also, traditionally, they're referred to as CUGs, but people say CUG grants, which is technically Teach Unique Grant. Again, that just busted. So rather than just say, okay, we just keep it the same and just change it to uniquely, I propose the idea of what if we just change the name to something else? Because teachers we had.
Well, if you have to use the same kind of, I didn't know if you have to use
You want to do whatever we want.
because if we have to use kind of the same, I think that they kind of reverse it to the grant of unique.
That's yes, but then
No, so then it's done.
but that's great.
But then it's a grant still, because you got grant first.
Yeah. It's confusing. So I've shown this to a couple of people, but that's true. It is. So one of the things I thought of was Think It grant, and the IT standing for Innovative Teaching. And we started using a light bulb to represent CUG grants, so we could keep that. So I can show you guys this. I worked up a draft logo of it, because rather than just say the name, I want to see the picture. So, yeah, you guys can take a look, and then we can toss them around. But so 2 versions of it, but playing off, I didn't want to emphasize the IT and make people think that it means IT. So you'll get we'll show them around, but that was my idea. Keeping instead of unique, innovative, and then now they could just be called, people might refer to them as Think grants and forget the IT part, but we know it's Think It. So you can take a look and then we can see if you guys have other ideas or if you like that. But I had a bunch that Jessica and I met. I ran a handful of them by them, and a lot of them disappeared from that after that conversation. I was trying. I was fishing for ideas. But also, I think it's worth mentioning, does anyone like keeping CUGs and be uniquely? Because we can't keep it Teach Unique. That is not going to happen. So it would have to be Teach Uniquely grant, or we keep it. So, but it's not off the table keeping the same name.
I think either way is grammar is bad. I don't know.
Doesn't it sound weird?
I think either way, but I would either change it completely, I think we need something different, or...
I think that makes sense. It's simple, it's just a protocol.
You like CUG?
I don't like CUG. I don't like calling it. I'm going for the CUG.
Is TIG a little better?
I like Think. I like the innovative teaching for sure.
Yeah. Right? We can't do teach with teach.
I like the Think. Like we said, they will probably call it the Think grant.
Here, Jenna, yours.
The Think grant, yeah.
You can hold it up if you want to. Yeah, we don't have to. You can show it. Great.
I kept trying, I wasn't trying to think of something new. I kept trying to use those same colors.
Yeah, that's where that...
Like unconventional.
Oh, yeah.
That it's out of the box. That's just the thing that you want. That has no innovative. makes you different,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't make you good.
Math, or
Yeah.
yeah. I had one with an ice, and was like, no, we're not doing ice. So, do you guys like this then? Is that anybody? Does anyone not? Is anyone like, no, I want to come up with a better idea? No offense.
No.
Well, because I'm visual, then which one? Because we're not using both graphics. Which one do you guys like better?
We're going to do like show hands.
Sure. This one? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one? 1, 2, 3. This one it is.
Okay.
So democratic. I want to make sure we're doing things by the book. When we get an official vote, that we're changing the name of TCNE grants to Think It grants, and that we're going to use some traffic, and we're going to work on revising our application over the next month. And then we can take sections. All right. Thank you.
I third. You got a second already.
The last agenda item is open house. Because there's a lot of people who may or may not have been involved in this, especially for you. Open house is crazy. There is everyone on campus dropping stuff off in their child's classroom at the same time. It is a madhouse. We sell spiritware in here, and we have traditionally taken volunteer registration in here. In the past, spiritware would be for sale in front of the stage, and then we would sort of have a going to sell spiritware, but we are not going to sell everything. So we are going to use whatever stock we have, probably just t-shirts and the old the sweatshirts that have the color, the white on it, because they're discontinued. We'll sell whatever stock we have. We will not in person be selling the new sweatshirts or the owl shirts. Those will be available in the back to school sale that's going online starting on the 26th. So our spiritware, we will have all the t-shirts. The people who need it for field trips and things like that, they can get their t-shirts, and they can buy any of our clearance items or any of our cups and bags and all that stuff. So that's the plan that Maria has shared with me.
Will the discontinued items, will the price be different on them?
They're not. They're going to be the same, but it's only whatever size we have. And so I had the little whiteboard out earlier. I got that with a mini whiteboard that we can use for spiritware and our concession stands. Instead of printing sheets up, we can actually just have we can rewrite it. So as we sell out of something, we can just take it off the board. So I kind of thought that might be. It's going to be very much or we literally have a sheet of paper for this size, and when we fill that, we just take it away. Because it'll be a when someone comes in, we don't have to be telling them, well, we have this. If you see it out, it's available. If it's not out, it's not available. Because there's some sizes we might have two of, and as soon as they sell, gone. So it's going to be, it's a very busy time. Last year we sold almost $4,500 worth of stuff at open house. And again, we're not going to sell a ton of sweatshirts this year, but there's a lot of families, and they're going to come by. We're going to sell t-shirts at the kindergarten hospital school day, and we're going to sell tomorrow at the middle school mixer. So a lot of the new families will have had a chance to buy, but it's still going to be a very busy time. So anyone who is able to help, we need you. I have gotten permission that anyone who volunteers during open house, they visit their child's classroom at 2 o'clock. So that way you can still take your kid to the class, and then you're available from 3 to 5 to help. Honestly, we're probably going to be selling from 2:30 close to 6. Last year, we needed later, probably didn't leave until 9:30, because there was that many people buying, and then we would clean it up. So honestly, as many hands as we have, the less I'm sitting here all night. I actually have, the last several years, I've worked on the volunteer recruitment side of things, which is what I'm good at doing, having those conversations and getting, why you guys are all in this room, that's how we talk to me. So we're going to have that set up, but we're also going to have a welcome booth this year, and the cups and pens that we ordered, they're going to be free gifts. And so we're going to make, I haven't made it yet, but probably some little brochure that gives like some of the upcoming events for the first portion of the year and some of the PFI meetings. Just some little info that can be, so every cup can have a pen and a little brochure, and people can come get that. And while they're in here, they can sign up for something and talk to me. And so a few people, if we have enough, Spiritware is going to need a certain number of volunteers to the just does. If there are enough people able to help, I would like to help with that kind of thing as well. But we also need help. Like last year, the person who did the educate, she was actually out there, like in the show building or something, like helping people with their questions. And I don't know if we need someone to do that or not.
Like what kinds of questions?
It was the parent navigator.
Oh, no.
We had a space in that, and so it's basically for new parents. So we might need it this year because people won't know where to go. So it was helping them find their classrooms.
Oh, okay, so she was
where they were going.
Educate.
No, she was also a parent navigator. No, she was a parent navigator. She was there.
Yeah. So if someone is interested in helping, there are also those other needs that day. So anyone who feels like they can be a part of helping other parents get around.
Like literally directing.
We need that. The school itself will help. We are not done by PFI, but the school is working on making a map so that, and we're thinking of doing it in sort of like a scavenger hunt because so much has changed. It'll be like, hey, make sure you know where all your specials are. Make sure you come to the multi-purpose room and talk to the hot lunch counter and get your Spiritware and get your welcome gift. And middle school speaking, to make sure you know where your elective is. So a map and also making it kind of fun. And then if we haven't finalized what this will be, but if you're done and you turn it in, maybe you're entered in some raffle or something. I don't know for sure if it'll develop that far, but regardless, it'll be some sort of a map that people get that we can post on the connection ahead of time, but that they're in all the classrooms when they go to the classroom. Or if they, we've had some if they came here first. Because people may start anywhere.
Get Spiritware
Get Spiritware before you sell out. I mean, especially when we advertise, when we put out there that it's limited quantities of certain sizes, there might be where we need to come to us before they go to their room. So
since you're starting the back to school sale on that Monday, is there an opportunity that if you found something, you can start taking the orders?
I think there'll be too much to do because when we actually, the people who bought from the early bird sale come pick it up as well. So we'll have a section where people are coming to pick up their stuff. There's just if there was enough people, we probably could do that. I'm thinking we just have a flyer that they can pick up, like, oh, I wanted to get a sweatshirt. Okay, you can order it starting on Monday for 2 weeks, and here's the information. So, and I'm going to do that on the information. So I think we'll have something like that. With the information, but because we only have the iPad for taking the credit card orders, and we won't have, I think it'll be too complicated. I mean, if we had multiple devices in different sections, maybe, but I think it might be a little too much further. And in future years, we might do it differently, but we want to use that clearance supply before we really stock up on all the new stuff. So. That was kind of our motivation to get rid of it without lowering prices. So, I think 3 or 4 people have told me they can come, but if anyone, I don't know if I've spoken to everyone in this room, but I mean, you can let me know right now and I'll let you know down if you can.
I can come, but give me somebody to talk to.
You what?
Give me doing something to talk to.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
You want to do the volunteer thing with me?
I could do that, or I could be like at the welcome table.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Or like,
perfect.
give me something where I get to talk to people on here. It makes sense.
I can come. I can be here about 3.
Oh yeah, anyone 30 about. That's what I meant, like, do we have people from outside?
I have one parent who said that he's not coordinating anything, but instead she's available to help. Otherwise, it's just people.
So last year you did, I think you did a sign up.
Would that be more helpful?
I
do
think
that.
so.
And I was like, okay, well,
Just so you can see like what there's.
and I could have a setup time slot, but maybe you're not helping sell, but you can come at 2 o'clock and help set up. And then you can.
That's what you
Yeah, like I can help with that, and then I have to.
Yeah.
So like,
Okay.
you don't
I'll make
have
a
to
sign
have-
up payment for it.
Yeah, I can make a post on the,
To the report. Yes, I'll work on that. And then I will make sure that gets out to everybody.
So when you send out the sign-up meetings, do you want us to sign up?
Yes, I would like for you guys to sign up on there. If we end up having a bunch of people, there will be something people can do. In this room, I mean, really, they had athletics, they had hot lunches, there's just people everywhere.
There are literally surveys like pizza and taking up many, many tables.
Yeah, and I don't know what that structure, I haven't seen the map yet this year. I've asked that we have spiritware, a section for volunteers in the welcome table, and a section for the already sold spiritware. I mean, we took capsules for that.
Since you're saying something is a map,
Yeah.
is it possible, because there's so much movement, to get a map, so that when I, like, can we, this might talk about reflecting room, when I do educate, I don't even know where everybody is.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, there are new teachers in 3rd grade, there's new teachers in 5th grade.
I'll add that to my stuff of things. Well, they have to make me anyway, so I can.
I was just thinking, there's, like, more changes than
Yeah,
I
I don't even know. I don't know yet. I don't know.
It would just streamline my process a whole lot.
Yeah, I'll make sure you get the resources you need. Any more questions on that? I'll make a sign of Genius. Otherwise, just, yeah, if you're available, we can use you. That's the bottom line. So, that is the last of the official things, but I would like to just give you guys a chance at this point if there's anything else you want to talk about or bring up that has to do with PFI. We can do that, and otherwise we'll close out the meeting. Anybody have anything else? Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Yes, let's close the meeting. Motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:50 p.m.
The motion to adjourn at 8:50.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks to anybody who joined us on the